Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Vampire Circus by Mark Morris. And this is, let's see if I can find the proper information here, based on the movie Vampire Circus from Hammer Horror Films, directed by Robert Young, released in 1972. I don't see screenplay information. But it's Vampire Circus by Mark Morris, a novelization. And in this book, 10 years ago, some terrifying shenanigans went down. Vengeful promises were made. Jump to modern day, which in this case would be 2012. And the hens have come home to roost. The piper has come to be paid. The Vampire Circus is in town. That's the nutshell. And for the too long didn't watch crowd, I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. And basically, as I said, 10 years ago, in the town of Shettle, there have been some missing children. The perpetrators have been found. They have been dealt with, but have promised revenge. I'm trying to avoid so many things here. Then we jump to 10 years later, modern day, and the town of Shettle has been just falling apart. One of our main characters is a doctor, and he's dealing with an overload of patients. Patients, not patients. And this circus comes to town, the Circus of Nights, and it's very weird. And our main characters, the doctor, there's a private detective, there's a teacher, and a journalist, editor of the local paper. They know that there are, or feel like there are holes in their memory. Anytime they try and think about specific things, the thoughts just sort of drift away. People in town aren't themselves, but the circus has come. It's going to be a bright spot, right? Look, it's called Vampire Circus. Come on. And yes, so things get wild. Mark Morris does a great job, and the movie was released in 1972. It takes place in, I believe, the 1800s. It's horse-drawn carriages and outhouses, or I don't know, shitting in the streets. Don't know if there's indoor plumbing. And so I found it interesting right off the bat that this is set basically in 2012. Um, when the first now I didn't know what I hadn't seen the movie before. I didn't know what the setting was. I knew it came out in 72. So there's a car, excuse me, in the 10 years ago part. Not a problem. They had cars in 1972. They had cars in 1962. But then there's a mention of a mobile phone. And I was like, wait a minute. Is this a mistake? What's going on? Then I realized, because there's phones, computers, PS2s, I think, PlayStations. Obviously, very, very obviously, modern day setting, which I think is a very interesting choice, and I think it works very, very well. Mark Morris does that thing that the best authors of novelizations do, which is expands on the story, gets into the headspace of the characters. I mentioned in the previous video for Scared to Death that in movies, unless there's a voiceover, you're not getting into the character's headspace. You know, the actors can convey certain emotions, but you're not getting their thoughts. You're not really digging in. And we do get that in here. Mark Morris does a great job of that, expanding the characters. Some of the scenes very, very close to what happens in the movie. Some of the scenes quite a bit different. um, with, again, the modern day setting, and some of the scenes just expanded on. There are some new characters added in, but it all works very well. It absolutely keeps the heart and soul of the movie. Um, and uh, I can say that because after I finished it, I found that the movie was on Amazon Prime, and so I watched it immediately after finishing the book. The movie, very much a product of its time, very much a Hammer film. The special effects aren't great. The blood is very, very bright red. It's got nudity. It's got not a lot of like on-screen violence, but we see the aftermath of the violence. We see decapitated bodies. We just don't necessarily see the head coming off. Um, and but if you're a fan of Hammer horror, I definitely think it's a movie worth checking out. Um, it's available from, I don't remember if it's Arrow or Scream Factory. It's one of those. I think I'm gonna pick up the Blu-ray, get all those special features that I enjoy so much. Um, but as I said, Mark Morris does a great job of bringing it to the modern day, keeping the heart and soul of the story, getting into the characters' heads, expanding the scenes. Excuse me. In the movie, hopefully this isn't really spoilery. In the movie, it is believed that there is a plague in the town. And so roadblocks have been set up to keep people from entering the town, from leaving the town, and it's basically dudes with rifles on horseback on the roads. This isn't something that was going to work in a modern story, and so Mark Morris comes up with a very interesting and I think compelling reason for isolating the town of Shettle. And so I like that. I like that he's able to take this old thing that wouldn't really work in the modern day and finds a way to work the essentials of it into the story. And again, the fact that there are cell phones, that there are computers, that there are cars, not just a horse and buggy, don't affect the story overall. And there's a good reason why people aren't just calling each other or texting each other and telling them things. The Circus, he digs into the details of the performances and things, and so it's actually better on the page, in my opinion, better on the page than it is in the movie. But the movie is limited by budget, the effects that were available in the early 1970s, whereas, of course, on the page, unlimited budget, unlimited effects. So that just enhances the story, in my opinion. If you're a fan, if you've seen the movie and you're a fan of the movie, I highly recommend the book. If you've never seen the movie, I still highly recommend the book. It's a tale of supernatural revenge, and it's really, really good. I really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I think, and in the movie, the strong man, played by none other than David Prowse, Darth Vader. So you get to see Darth Vader back in 1972, although you never actually get to see David Prowse in the Star Wars movies. He's the physical actor that played Darth Vader, but not the guy that plays him when his helmet comes off at the end of Return of the Jedi. Spoiler alert, that's Sebastian Shaw. Is that correct? But David Prowse is the physical presence of Darth Vader, and apparently actually did all the dialogue, and then they just dubbed it over with James Earl Jones. But so it was interesting to see him not being Darth Vader. I don't know that I've ever seen him in anything else, but he is the strong man in the movie. um, so, yeah, that's it. I don't have a lot more to say about this one. Vampire Circus, Mark Morris. Uh, it's Hammer horror. They did a number of novelizations and a reprint of a novel that was made into a Hammer horror film. And this is I've read the novel that was made into a Hammer horror film. I didn't realize it wasn't a novelization at the time. That was really good. This one was really good. I have high hopes for the other ones. There's one, two, three, four. Four more that I haven't read. But for now, Vampire Circus, Mark Morris. Highly recommend it. Have you seen the movie? Are you a fan of Hammer horror films? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, I will have links for my Instagram and Bluesky in the description below. That's all I've got for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.